like this warm up, you're about to go live. And now officially, we are live on Facebook. I am so excited to be here today with my family and friends. I want to thank everybody who was out there who joined us today in this amazing conversation that we're about to have with you. I am, as usual, just love to do my checkpoints and make sure that I'm in alignment, turn my volume down so we don't get any feedback. Hello, family. How are you? Happy Thursday. Today is Thankful Thursday. And I, Cheryl Grant, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us in this amazing dialogue. I have an amazing Queen Boss before you, and we'll introduce her in a second. While I'm setting up the stage, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Tag a friend. Tag 2 or 3 friends. Get your notepad. Get your favorite beverage and sit in on a ride that's going to transform your life. I am just excited to be with you on this amazing Thursday. And I want to start off because not everybody is familiar with the Cheryl Grant Enterprise platform and don't necessarily understand the narrative of why am I doing this? What is the importance of this platform? So for those of you who are new, I'd like to share with you. And for those of you who already know, just sit back or go grab that cup of your favorite beverage before you join in. This platform was truly created out of a desire for me to showcase Black women and women of color. I would often go to events and I would be the only Black person in the room. And I always thought, or if I would go listen to speakers speak, often there were phenomenal speakers, and it's not to take away from any of them, but I would go listen to them speak and there would be only one Black person out of 20 at the whole conference who actually spoke. And I often ask myself, one day I'm going to have a platform where I can showcase all the talent that's out there. So when corporations say that they can't find talent, that's okay. You can come to me because I have the connections and I can connect the dots for you and help tap into the many women that I have interviewed on this platform. And if you haven't checked out my YouTube, I encourage you to go there. And our goal here is to highlight both the journey and the success stories of professionals and entrepreneurs of color. We want to explore all the important and necessary information to help guide and inspire and encourage all aspiring business owners and professionals of color. We want to equip them with specific, concrete examples, tools, tips, tricks that lead them toward their own successes, not only in business, but in life. So this beckons the question, it's beckoning it. Are you fit? And you might ask the question, as most do, what is FIT? FIT stands for faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith is a mental construct that I developed when I was in grad school. Faith is your ability to step out in the unknown, believing in the impossible. Intuition, the I in FIT, is trusting your intuition when it's talking to you and it's telling you you're in a toxic relationship or you're in a toxic job that's not supporting you. And tenacity, to believe in yourself, to know that you can achieve your greatest dream. So I ask you the question, are you ready to be fit? Are you ready to be fit? And if the answer to that question is yes, it's so funny. My family always want to call me at this time, and they know that I have fit. So I don't know why they call me at this time, but I have my phone on so I can see both things. But family, I love you, but I can't talk right now. So are you ready to get fit? And if you are, then you've landed at the right place. Today, I want to share a little bit about this amazing guest that I have before me. And this lady is the boss girl, Dr. Raye Mitchell. She is an inventor, an award-winning entertainment lawyer, executive producer, writer, and the host of Mouthology, Mouthology, and I'm sure she'll give us a little bit of a clue about what that's all about. I want to say that I really can go on with this particular young lady endlessly about her background. I've had the opportunity and the privilege and the pleasure to work with her in her creation of Girls Rock. And it came at a time where I was passionate about empowering girls. And Raye called me up and she said, I think you should join me. And it was such a magical journey. I did it with Nikki. I did it with, it was just an amazing journey. But I really want to dive into it because this hour, Raye, goes so fast. I can go on your college degrees and Harvard University and where you've been and how many accolades you have. And you can share with the audience as we go along. But I really want them to know who this queen is. So without further ado, wherever you are, I need you to stand up. And yeah, I said it, stand up and give this queen boss a round of applause. Raye Mitchell.
Okay, where is she? Where is she? I want to meet her. Where is she? Oh, okay. All right, calm down.
Okay, Raye, Raye, before you get started, listen to this. Oh my God, Vicki Stevens said,
hey, Vicki.
Girl. Wait a minute. The famous Carol H. Williams.
Love you, Carol. My girl, Carol Williams. Oh my God, this is like old school, new school. Love you all.
I do too, Carol. I would love, the queens need to hear from you. I would love to have you on my platform. Vicki also says she is all that, and you are. Raye,
wow.
I got a question for you. What are you passionate about?
What am I? I didn't hear your question.
What are you passionate about?
Oh, okay. All right. So that is an easy one. I am totally engrossed in helping people step into their greatness. I love the idea that people can evolve through love, support, and having a fierce advocate. So the totality of everything I've done for some of my clients, my friends, everyone that I seek to touch, it's about how can I leave you in a better space than I met you. And so I travel a lot of highways to get there. And it doesn't matter what lane I'm in, as long as they all are going forward.
Oh my God. I love that because I know the universe brought us together for a reason because I too am passionate about helping others. But Raye, I talk a lot about on this platform about three things. I talk about a lot of things, but this is called fit. And it's fit for a reason because I truly believe until you are mentally fit, then you can't do anything else. It's not that you can't. There are blockages that will prevent you from being your most amazing self. So one of the pillars of fit is about faith. How have you applied faith in your life's journey? Because let's be honest about it. Raye, you're an attorney, an amazing attorney. You're a producer. I've watched what you produce. You're a writer.
Oh, wait. Tell me some more. I'm sorry. No, okay. So give me the moment to first thank you. Your energy is so inviting. Your energy is important, but your energy is authentic. So for anyone that is hearing from you, I want them to know that what you are giving out is pure octane of goodness. And it matters because there are a lot of people who have a lot of words who don't say anything of importance. So my faith is the cornerstone of everything I am, have been, and will be. And a lot of people talk about faith from a disconnected point of view. So since this show is about pragmatism, I'm going to show you the 5 things in my life that all drive from faith, lead to faith, and are a part of faith. So I have 5 things that are my must do every day, every way. The first is serve God in my community. I give God in my community the best I have. How and what that looks like, it varies. I could be working with people trying to do a COVID resurrection to doing some pro bono-ish legal work where I've evolved to helping people live with some of the most dire circumstances in their life. I've gone from giving legal advice to taking courses in counseling and helping people recover from suicide or not lead to suicide. So faith allows me to stay in the moment and to be of good use and purpose. The next thing that's a part of my life that faith drives is I have this incredible urge, desire to live out my entire creative spectrum, preferably at once, but I'll do it a little at a time. So I have this urge for creative vigor. I have this undying need to live out my nerddom. I admit that I am a nerd. I like learning, I like sharing learning, and I like being able to apply it. So that's the third component. And then the fourth is physical fitness and well-being. I am a vigorous, violent advocate for peace and well-being. I love the juxtapositioning of the words, but that's what it's like. You have to defend your well-being. And then from that place of being, my financial house will fill. So if you look at a diamond shape, you start with God as the deliverer of what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to do now? What am I not supposed to do? And from that, I look into my buckets of excitement. And each day, each way, I figure out a way to touch them. When there's a monetary opportunity in there so that I can recircle and refuel to give back to the number one, it'll emerge. But other than that, I just do a few things on the side.
Right. I think that's a lot. Well, I always get such great joy in talking to you because I have never had a conversation with you that I've not come away being a better person than prior to us having a conversation. And it's happened on many different occasions. And one in particular that comes to mind is we were talking about being change agents. And you used another word, and it wasn't change agent.
Oh,
It was equivalent to being a change agent. And basically what you're saying is that you go in and you like to transform situations. And I think this is speaking to what you're about and finding those buckets of opportunity and completing one's life. Well, as much as you can speak on that, I think it's really important right now because we're all pivoting, Ray. We're all trying to find a way in which to be a better version of ourselves in a world that has not one, as Black women, let's just be honest. We're the least respected, the least appreciated, and the least, not only within the United States, but around the globe. And that's been a heavy burden that we always come with a smiling face when we have such heaviness. How do we apply these fundamental buckets and tools and changes to become that person, Ray? What do we recommend to those individuals?
Well, I have covered some highways and I have driven with a focus on how do I extract every ounce of excellence that God has put in me and anyone else. So that's my mantra. How can I be the better version of me? You've heard it before, but in some of my work, I talk about a competition addiction. I am addicted to competition, but the competition is to be a better version of me. And you think about it, we spend so much energy trying to do this, take that class, do this, do that. In the end and in the beginning, I am good with being a little bit better than I was yesterday. So for example, and this is just my example, and it'll relate to your question. About a couple of years ago, I had emergency surgery, and as a result, it reignited a rheumatoid arthritis. It'd been in remission for years. No medication, no pain, nothing. Well, as you know, surgery is disruptive anyway. After the surgery, the doctor told me that I would never walk again, or I would not walk without pain or heavy drugs and medication. And I was like, well, that just won't do. So I went back into it saying no is the beginning of yes. And I started working out again. I started strength training. And eventually I got to a point where I was working with my personal trainer. And I think I told you or someone else, in the last 2 years, I've finished over, count the virtuals too, 10 5Ks and half marathons. No pain, no drugs, no discomfort. And I use the energy of no to make it a yes.
Woo! Talk to me about the
That is my story.
What is the energy of no? Wait a minute. Did I miss that?
Yes. When somebody says no, we tend to get in a corner and we start fighting. To me, the energy of no is like, really? All right. And then you quietly make your plan. You're not combative. You're not punching back. You're not punching up. You're not punching down. You are dissecting that no so that it is resurrected as your yes. I do it with my clients. The best way I litigate, when I did litigate, is I shouldn't say this because I probably have some cases out there. I would take everything the opposition was saying and doing, and I would use their words to engineer a better argument. And so when I say the energy of no, it can eat you up, turn you bitter, make you angry, and make you the stereotype angry Black woman. You can become the angry Black woman. Trust me, I've had a few of those as clients. Or you can take the energy of no and saying, I will not become that which I do not want to be. Because nobody can define you to be anybody except you. And so when somebody tells me you can't do it, that's a no, that's not going to go, I go back and my left brain is analyzing it and my right brain is creating a whole new scheme to figure out a way out of it. Now, here's the part of the no. It could fail miserably, but I would rather fail on a grand scale. I would have a major, can I say it, F up. I would take a major F up over a subtle, okay, that's okay. Wow. Because there is so much drama in getting over that which somebody told you couldn't do.
You are just speaking to my personal spirit right now. And I don't know if anybody's out there, but I've already asked you. We are here to uplift and empower. You should be tagging every person that you know, and especially if she's a Black woman or a woman of color, because we're here to give you the tools that you need. And one of the things that you just said was the power of no. The power I used to, as a sales representative in my 30 years in corporate America, was always no doesn't mean no. No just means no, not right now. And I could walk away from relationships because, they didn't give me the business and burn a bridge, versus parking it and said, I'll come back to it. And even what I just got from you was finding what I just got from you in this no, and help me, Ray, if I'm on track, is in our no that turns to failure. Like you said, a major F up. So when we do, we feel deflated. We feel somehow that we're less than, and it goes through our childhood traumas. We've always been able to win, 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 win. So when we don't win, we feel defeated. And sometimes that defeat leaves us in a dark place. And what I hear you saying is, it's okay to be defeated. As a matter of fact, your greatest learning is going to come from your defeats more than it's going to come from your victories. Did I just misread you?
Well, no, that was a monumental failure. No, I'm just kidding. Thank
you. I'm just kidding. That's why I know I can count on you. That's right.
Here's the deal.
That's right, Vicki.
Here's the deal. Because I am on this obsession to extract every ounce of my creativity no matter where it decides to hide. When I encounter something that is like, man, did you step into that? I write. I coach people on writing. I encourage people to write. I produce and I create content. To me, everything is a story. Think about some of the most successful stories out there. They center around a rise up. Stories start with the drama. Something happened, and then the story goes from there. And so when I think about things that are the darkest moments of my life, the most difficult moments of my life, spiritually, I will first say, you know, Lord, I know you've written this journey. It's not the story I would have written, you know, but then God's like, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you to co-write this script. And then the second part then becomes, if I can extract from this that which you want from me, I can get to the other end. And here's the part about what I've learned. Other people learn different things. What I've learned is sometimes you just need to let it go. Ooh. Let that, can I? No, okay, I won't use the word. Let that stuff go. I have.
We are streaming live on all platforms.
And you saw I censored.
Sometimes you got to.
I'm being conscientious. So, but sometimes there's only a word that works. So I have coached women from working behind the counter at a fast food to women on boards of some of the biggest companies in this country.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I share with my sisters, and my sisters are all different colors, sizes, ages, and ranges. And when I hear the story and I hear the energy and I hear the fight, sometimes I say, what would happen if you laid down arms? What would happen? Because we as Black women are always having to pull it together, pull it through. We always got to save it for someone else. And then at the end of it, we don't get our due. And then once we didn't get our due, we gonna tell it. You can see the cycle coming. So sometimes when I'm coaching someone on how to be mouthful, and we'll talk about later, that's part of my platform, is how do you extract that energy that you want to tell everybody everything? Sometimes you just gotta let it go. And here's what I mean by that. I used this analogy the other night when I was on the show. Imagine a tug of war, and you are pulling to save your life against the other side.
Right.
Whatever the other side is. It's the job, it's the girlfriend, the man friend, it's the child, it's the business.
Right.
You're pulling everything you have, and it's becoming toxic, but you are still pulling. You're gonna get them over that, the muddle and the tug of war. And I said to somebody, I said, what if you let go of that rope? What if you let go of it? Well, I can't do that. No, I said, let go of it. And what will happen is all of their energy will fall back on them, and you will stand up. And guess who's winning when you're standing up? So a lot of times letting go of the rope becomes the most consequential thing you can do when you're trying to pull something over the finish lines. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's worked every time ever in my life.
And I want to be a testimony to you and a reinforcement that is absolutely true. And as an example for me going through this COVID experience that we've all been going through, and we've all had our own learning experiences from it, I got to a point where I really realized that what information was I allowing into my psyche and how was it serving me? Because it's easy to turn on the news, and that constant inflow of just negativity can have you going stir crazy. Then in addition to that, you can't go outside. And then in addition to that, you have all these other, all the different issues, economic pandemic, the actual COVID pandemic, the racial pandemic, you got all this going, then you got your family trying to worry about your job. You have all these things. And at the end of the day, what you're saying really resonates with my heart, because you are a human being. And one of the most powerful things we could do with what you said, and I would add to that, is being present to right now. Because I can't change the pandemic other than my actions of wearing a mask, making sure I'm social distancing, washing my hands. I can do those things. That's within my control. But I can't control other people and I can't control other things. The other thing was to start to focus that energy, like you said, letting go. Because that's what I did, Ray. When I let go of the world and all that pressure, I found Cheryl. I was able to really get in tune with, what do you want to do now? What are you going to create now? How are you going to take your platform to another level? And my focus became inward in what was my goal, to uplift women. So I want to say thank you, because that is spot on. And to me, that's exactly what this audience needs to hear. How do you reinvent yourself? By letting go. If your conversation every single day, I have this rule with my girlfriends, Ray. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about. But what we can't do, or what I won't allow, we're not going to be talking about the same thing next year. If we haven't progressed, there's a problem. And the problem we need to be able to look at, maybe by letting it go and focusing on something, because it will show itself true. So thank you. That's powerful.
Yeah. Well, the part that I would add to that about the let it go part is, letting it go and reclaiming it are two different energies. I don't let anything go by the wayside. Everything has residual value, even hurt, pain, and disappointment. When I watch the news, and we lived through 4 years of Cheetos, and we don't have to describe who we mean by that. We all know. And the horrible things. My creative mind went off the Richter scale. You're getting new words. You're getting new scenarios. Everything in life is a story to be told. I write. And so, for example, I'll get finished watching a news story. And I'll give you an example. When the former president person used that word kofefe, I was like, and everybody was making a joke about how stupid it was and this, that, and the third. I went out, bought the URL, trademarked it. I was like, I'm going to turn his idiocy into my opportunity. So even in the midst of a pandemonium, pandemic, I call it pandemonium, but in the midst of a pandemic, you can create an incredible escape hatch. The time that we're sitting here on lockdown is the time that you need to be resurrecting a plan to just explode, because every downturn has an upturn. And what we miss as Black women, this is a big majorative, not a pejorative, is we're so focused on what is that we lose track of what could be. To me, every negative has an opportunity. So when I see something bad going on, my mind starts saying, there's something good in there. And if my friend Carol was still on, she would tell a story, and I may not be doing it justice, but I'm going to do the best I can, because I've heard one of her speeches, and I love Carol.
Tell the audience who Carol is, in case they don't know. I can't imagine. So could you please enlighten me?
I saw it on your thing. Carol H. Williams is probably the most creative, brilliant, inspirational example of what can be from any angle you want to think about. And Carol runs the largest independent women-owned advertising agency, I'll say, in the world. That's my choice.
Yeah.
But what I like about Carol is her ability to creatively pivot. She was a client. We're friends. I'm desperately pushing her to give me more. She knows what I mean by that. But the point of my point is that you can get into a space where everything is a story. Somebody's coming at you.
Carol said, I'm here. Carol said, I'm here.
And you can get into a space where everything is trying to take you out. It is not easy being Carol, leading in an industry that does not want what she delivers. In fact, they want what she delivers. And so when I think about somebody like a Carol, or even my friend Vicky, what I think about with women like that is they are able to engineer a strategy where they have the other side confused. Because the other side is always trying to write script on us. She's a this, she's a that, she's not a this. And what Carol does so wonderfully, which is why she has every earned accolade and some that have not been bestowed upon her, is she's not what they predict she will be. And so when I translate from an experience with having known somebody like Carol, or somebody like Vicky, or somebody like you, and down the list of all these wonderful women that have graced my life, I often ask, what's the through line? They're all different, but the through line is they're unexpected. They're unexpected.
I love it.
I
love it.
Be unexpected. Stop doing what they say you should do. Just throw the book out, burn it. In fact, I will bring the matches to you. Stop. If you want some
let
success,
it go.
Not just let it go, I would throw away every how-to manual in the world and write your own. Write it. Write the story you want to live. I'm working on it. I'm going to make a movie. You watch. I don't care how much older I get, because I'm not into age, but I'm not denying age, but I'm not telling you my age.
I tell mine, but I'm with you.
I own it. I got one coming up. But the point is, somebody has said to me, like, wow, you're a multitasker. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? I like to stay in my lane, is the person's comment. I said, well, I like to stay in my lane, but I like to own 5 to 10 lanes. So at any given moment, I can sail across lane 1 through 10 as long as they're all going in the direction I want to go. So when the economy goes down and this is not in demand, I'm over in lane 2 where something else is. Think about all those people making money with masks. A year ago, if somebody told you to put your money into masks, you would have been like, eh. Well, somebody did. Yeah. Shift gears. Throw away these manuals about what is. It'll be so much fun. High risk. High risk.
But I love it because I feel that the manuals that have been written were not designed for us. And I feel that in order for us to break free, truly break free, we have to give ourselves permission first. And we have to be willing to take those risks and step up and live our most audacious life. I'm of the mindset, and I hear it a lot that people say, well, Cheryl, it's overstated. My shero of all times is Harriet Tubman. And she's my shero because she didn't fit, like you say, the status quo. Yet she built a coalition of the Underground Railroad with many different people, I'm sure of many different types, spaces, and places in order to do what she did. But she wasn't just self-centered. It wasn't just about her. As she went through, she went back to help others. And I think it's so important for us to reach back. I'm doing the same thing you're speaking of. I'm creating a platform that I dreamed of. My goal is to hit 50 million women. Why do I want to touch 50 million women? Because I want to give them the same tools that you just talked about, the belief that you can, and you can. We are the most educated in this country, period. I didn't make it up. It's a fact. It's a statistical fact. We also are leading the way in entrepreneurship. Women, and especially young women, young Black women, are unfortunately leaving corporate America by the droves. And a part of the rationale and reasoning is because they're not going to do what I did in my generation. They're not going to put up with it. they're starting their own companies, whether it's mask making, hair product, facial product, skincare product. They're out there leading the way, and I work with them. I have hundreds of them that I'm working with right now, and I get their feedback all the time. So we have to be willing to step out. And you, Raye Mitchell, I have personally experienced you doing that when you created Girls Rock. Tell them a little bit about Girls Rock, because that was phenomenal.
Well, the foundation is called the New Reality Foundation, and one of the programs was called Girls Rock. Girls Lead was actually the next name, and it's dedicated to helping young Black women and girls rise up as global leaders. And what those words translated to was creating unusual circumstances for them to experience their unusual brilliance, introducing them to people that they may not meet, putting on programs and platforms. We did the Girls Rock TV segments. We did several, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Some were live, some were taped.
I can still Google them and find them.
Yeah, they're on the channel. And the mission that I sought to accomplish, and I'm still engaged in, is how do I create opportunities for our young Black women and girls to be highly visible in a world where we're deemed invisible. Right. My book is called Invisible No More, helping young Black women and girls rise up as global leaders. And I'm doing the second edition, Black Lives Matter, in a special edition, and it's called Leading in Turbulent Times. We brought home the 2020 election. We, Black women. Stacey Abrams, to be precise. And we know that Kamala's in the VP. But our stories are often muddled. We don't often get a chance to tell our stories, or we get confused when we should tell our stories, which is why the podcast and video series I'm starting is called The Mouthology Show. It's my word, it's my concept, and it's really about mouthfulness. And you're like, what? Well, our mouths are our greatest asset of how we produce, protect, and tell our stories to the masses. And often in working with young women, but it's across the board, we don't always know how to strategically tell our stories. And I'll give you an example. I go to book shows. Well, when the world was open, the world's not open now, but one day the world will be open. And I go to book fairs, and not only am I there with my books, I look at the other authors. I met this young Black woman, and she had an interesting book, because I look for content, and I look for content that I can either help produce, help take to a different level, or different things. And
that part.
I can't see. I don't have any glasses.
Carol says, when you're at the top of the rock, always send the elevator back down. I love
yes, it, and write it down and ride someone up with you. And so this young woman, she had her, speaking of the pun, her elevator speech. Everybody tells you, prepare your elevator speech, so that if you're in the elevator with somebody like Carol or a CEO and you want to give them, I was like, oh God, don't do that to me. So she was talking, and I'm giving her all sorts of clues that I'm not listening. And so part of my show is called Your Mouth is Talking. Are you being heard? And here's what was wrong. She was not interacting with me. She was intent on telling me her message. And her message, I got it. And so I wanted to learn, did she have some bandwidth? So I'm asking her some questions to see if her brand or her platform had legs beyond what she had identified. And I asked the question this way, and I asked the question that way. And it doesn't matter which way I asked the question, I got the same elevator speech. So when I talk about mouthfulness, part of it is knowing what to say and when to say it, and kill the idea of a brand, a pitch, or a elevator speech, because you don't know what your audience wants to hear until you're smack dab in the middle of it. So you have to be prepared with the multiplicity. That's my word for today. The multiplicity of ways to tell your story. And we get in trouble when we only have one dimension to our story. So my show is about how do I help people, which is what I've done the entirety of my career, from management, marketing, lawyering, as an intellectual property strategist. How do you build your best story ever? Not just creative. Branding is a thing of the past. You need to pull it all together. So that's what I like to do. I like to encourage people whose names I won't use to bring their story to the masses. And everybody
I'm not going to
has a
use
story.
names either. I'm not going to put that message back up there, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not mind my business. That's what I'm going to do.
But here's the lesson learned. I get to tell my story. I own the story. When somebody says, well, you're a lawyer, I said, no, I'm not. I said, that's one of the things I do. But when somebody puts a label on you, they have now put you in a square space.
Yes.
So I don't have an answer. They're like, well, what are you? I said, I'm Raye. And then I was talking to someone the other day, and I was just as flippant as I wanted to be. And it's like, what do you do? I said, what I choose. And I was being that way because the person was just asking these stage questions. And I was feeling like, you're not going to be the type of person that I would be best for because you have sameness thinking syndrome. Ooh. One of the things that I try
I got to write that one down.
Yeah, just put that little circle R next to it to trademark.
So same as SAMENESS syndrome?
Yeah, sameness thinking syndrome.
Okay.
And what that means is you're all set to go out the gate. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to launch. I'm ready to rock. And then you go and you get all the books that tell you how to do it. Well, all you're going to do is do it like everybody else. So as long as you are entrenched in sameness thinking, you're not going to break free. And when I talk to people about that big F up, you have to really look at something and say, this is so outrageous that they're going to think I'm crazy. That's when you know you've hit the audacity of something brilliant. But as long as it feels good, as long as you did it according to the formula and the recipe, you'll be okay. But for some people, okay is good. But for some people, okay is a disappointment. And you have to decide, is your okay okay? Or is your okay part of that competition addiction where you've got to get a little bit better, you got to be a little bolder, and then you got to go brass, and then you just got to go out crazy. Because being crazy could be a good thing.
I'm on that edge of craziness because I decided to create this platform, and I have the audacity to say I'm going to reach 50 million women, and I have the audacity to believe that I'm going to do it. And you hit something for me personally, because my team really wants me sometimes to, and I do to a degree, really integrate myself in rehearsing what we're talking about. And for me, Raye, if it doesn't come from my spirit, like I'm spontaneous because that's the fire in my pit, the pit of my stomach. You can't control that. So I bring my authenticity to you. You're getting it 150% when I'm staged or rehearsed. It's like I'm speaking outside of my body. Like, who is she? Like, let me just tell you what I'm thinking. So I appreciate that. And I just want to pause here. And if anybody is listening, if you haven't taken some notes thus far, I am really sitting on the other side of this video conference asking myself, what's going on with you? This is just the information you're getting is priceless. Secondly, have you tagged a friend? Or do you just keep the information to yourself? Why do you tag a friend? The more of us that get this information, the more empowered we'll be.
I'm going to take some water, but I've taken the label off, so I'm okay.
Okay, thank you. And the third thing is I want to say to you, this is not meant to be a monologue. This is meant to be a dialogue. So if you have questions, ask. You have Raye Mitchell. It's not often that you have an opportunity to have access, and right now you do. Take advantage.
Yeah, because tomorrow the rates
for her
go
services. I'm just saying.
Well, look, here's what I would love to share. I have no idea who's out there, and I'm blessed that there's somebody out there, I hope.
Yes.
I would share this moment.
I always, yes. So
yeah, I would share this moment to me. If I could do if I could abandon everything I thought I knew about what was good for me and start anew tomorrow, what would I do? Because the best quote that came to me was I was doing something and I was good at it. And the person came back to me and said, but what happens just because you're good at it doesn't mean it's good for you. I was like, well, darn, messed me up. And so I went through this exercise. I walk and I run and I train, and that's my time for me. And so I took that question. I said, if I had to completely abandon everything, I mean, the degrees, the Harvard, the this, the that, everything that anchored my life, and start fresh, what would you do? What if you didn't have your anchors? So people started talking about reinventing themselves. Reinventing yourself is when everything is gone, not just the job. Everything is gone. And so ask yourself, if you emptied out everything you relied on, what new thing would you discover? Because where we started is where we end. God said, if you want God to do a new thing in your life, you've got to get rid of an old thing. So get rid of a lot of old things and figure out some new stuff. You would be amazed how much newness is in you right now. Right now.
I love it. I love that. Vicki, thank you so much for being engaging. And I want to thank everybody who's online, whether you're on any of my 5 Facebook accounts or either you're on LinkedIn or YouTube. I just want to thank you for joining in this dialogue. I really want to encourage you again to ask questions. Vicki, I appreciate you for your interaction, because the questions are what makes the conversation so rich. Because Raye and I could talk, like we talk all the time. When we do talk, it's just one girlfriend vibing off of another and really feeding our spirits. And so I encourage you to join in the conversation with us. So Vicki says, I feel so honored to be on this live in powerful and phenomenal women that has made my day, ladies. Oh my God. Thank you so much for that. Because it's so important, Vicki, that I get feedback that the people that I'm out here to serve are receiving the information. Is this nourishing you? Is this encouraging you? Is this enlightening you? Is this giving you a different perspective on how you can be your best self? Because if so, then that's definitely what we came here to do. And if not, I want to understand why. I really do. So send me a message. It's okay. You can log on to my Facebook or log on to my website is www.cherylgrant.com. I'm always interested in learning how to be better in servicing you. Raye.
Yes, ma'am. I'm still here.
You are amazing. You are truly, you are a leader, and you are truly a transformation agent. And I think your name is, what is it? Girl Boss. What is your
That's Boss Girl. So look, here's the deal. I am at a space in my life. I told you this, and I'll repeat it. Everything is on the table. Nothing is off the table. I don't know all the great things that I have ahead, but I absolutely know that my commitment is to come up with something that's going to go like, what? I never would have saw that coming. And so if I were to leave anybody with anything, especially when I talk to my girls, and I still talk to them, my answer to them is no matter what you're thinking today, it's not big enough. And my last point, and then I'll finish it. Think about Amanda Gorman. She was managing and leading her art, her craft, her joy. And the thing she did was that was she was telling her story, and then the right people heard it. So my advice to people, lose the branding. There's another concept, find me, we'll talk about it. But sing out loud, because you never know who will hear you. And I don't mean sing the elevator pitch. I met Carol H. Williams. I keep coming back to Carol because I just adore her.
And she's a legend, everybody. Like, we got to give Carol. If we talk about her for the rest of the show, it would be okay.
But I bring stuff full circle for reasons. And I was at a business conference of lawyers pitching my law firm to somebody who had no intentions of ever hiring a Black person ever. But the young lady that was monitoring the session, volunteering, was the daughter of somebody that worked for Carol. The daughter went back and told the mother. The mother told Carol. And I met Carol, and we developed a business relationship that turned into a highly respectful friendship. Why? Because the person I was pitching wasn't listening, but somebody else was.
Wow.
You do not know how God will plant opportunity in your environment if you're singularly focused on your elevator pitch. Lose the elevator pitch, please.
Yes. Oh my God, Raye. That was a mouthful, and especially as we start to transition within COVID and everything is going digital, right? Everything is digital now. And so we're trying to find our space on these different platforms and how we position ourselves and what's the branding and how often you go in and what's the messaging of the story. Yeah, exactly. But I want to say to you that I am in agreement with everything you said. I really am. I do have a team, but I come from a different perspective when I think about branding. And I really picked it up from my sons they're my life. They will forever be my life. They're my babies, even though they're grown men, but they'll always be my babies. And I've been so conditioned by corporate that I would show up in the face that I wanted to make everyone feel comfortable and at home and at ease. And I didn't want to upset the apple cart, so to speak. And speaking my truth might sometimes do that. And I didn't want to come off as the angry Black woman. And I remember when I launched my company, I was like, I was going on live and they're like, Mom, be your most authentic self. And I said, I can't do that. And they're like, Mom, be your most authentic self. Lose that. People want to hear the grit. They want to hear your story. They want to know what you've been through. And because of that, I show up with a different ear and a different mind. And what you get Cheryl Grant. Like you're getting 150% of Cheryl Grant because of that. And authenticity is everything.
But the joy and the risk, because they're two sides of the same coin. Authenticity means vulnerability. Yes. So unless you are in a space and a place where you can establish a boundary and a safeguard around that vulnerability, be careful. Because when you open up in the wrong space, it can be a fiasco. And we've seen it from places where people say stuff that gets back. And the last part, not to be a downer, is be careful, because they're saboteurs. The person smiling in your face today will be the next person trying to lead your downfall tomorrow. So choose wisely. Choose wisely. It's not necessary to know the world. It's just necessary that the world knows you're here.
There you go. Oh my God. Well, I want to first say we have a few more minutes, but I want to say to you, it is always an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you. I always walk away, as I stated earlier, more informed and enlightened as a result of our conversation. I too hope that the audience, everybody's listening in, wherever you're listening from, LinkedIn, Facebook, any of my Facebook pages or YouTube, that you really took away the many gems that Raye has laid here for us today. And I think for me, the biggest one is let go. Let go, let go, let go. Step into your power. Throw away those books and tools and really step out on you. Step out on faith. And that is stepping out on faith. That is learning how to trust your intuition. And I feel like when you really develop those muscles and tools and you have the tenacity to do it, you'll speak at the right time to the right people and you will be heard. I feel that those doors will open and you'll meet maybe even the Carol H. Williams of the world, or the Vicki Stevens of the world, or the Raye Mitchells of the world. And I want to say for those,
the you of the world. I mean, I have great respect for everyone you just named.
yes, ma'am.
But my great respect is that everyone that's in earshot of this has something amazing to hold on to. From the woman who lives in a shelter, who has 2 pairs of underwear and 1 sock because someone stole the other one. She has an amazing story that will move this world. But we look past people like that. And I say, everyone has a story if you listen. And sometimes listening is just observing. And that brings such joy.
Well, every time Carol says something, we got to pause and I got to look. Carol asked a very question. Did you get healed?
Did I get healed?
Is that for us, Carol, or for the audience? Because if it's for us, I definitely got healed. Your presence being here, Raye being here, I'm better. I am in a very beautiful place right now that I'm gonna go out. Don't you say a word, Raye Mitchell.
All I'm gonna say is I told you about the saboteurs. I'm about to become one. I'm going out your story right now because I am jealous. I am envious, and I'm happy for where you are right now. I'm gonna leave it at that. Tell me a secret. I won't tell anybody except all of my closest friends.
Carol, thank you. Thank you for asking that question, because the audience is the #1 goal here. This platform is being brought to you, for you, by us, for you. These women are Black women who have made the pilgrimage. They've been there. Raye is a Harvard graduate. She didn't talk about her credentials, but she has them and a list of them. And this was truly for you to be elevated and to know that you have a support system of people that look like you, that truly understand your story.
Here's the last thing that I would leave, if I could, if you will. Yes. In answer to the beautiful exchanges with Vicki and Carol and everybody else that's coming through. If you've had the joy of listening to this wonderful set of energy from Cheryl and what she's delivering, go find 2 words, maybe 3. Find that verb. I live in verbs. Find a verb that tells me how you're doing right now. Enlivened, alive, motivated. I'm good. Not a sentence, not a paragraph, not a speech. Find a verb. I love verbs because verbs are words of action. Go find a new verb and use it and live it and take it forward. I don't know what my verb will be after today, but And not a passive verb. Give me a strong forward verb.
I love it. Y'all heard her, so you can definitely add on. And while we wait for some of those, we're going to wrap up. I always believe in being on as time as we possibly can. This platform is created for you. We have a special guest we're going to be bringing to you next week. I really want to encourage you. Please, same bat channel, same time, every Thursday, 5 p.m. I actually have another. I'm speaking for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women San Francisco chapter. So I'm going to jump off of this and go do that speaking engagement. But I want to say to you, please do follow me on YouTube. It costs you nothing to support me, but it will help me in so many different ways. I want to also ask Raye this one parting question before we go. And please do subscribe to my newsletter. It is amazing. We have some great tools and resources for you. You can do that at www.cherylgrant.com. Raye, I want to ask you one question right now.
Okay.
The question that I want to ask you is, how can we support you?
Okay, so 3 ways. Number 1, follow me on Instagram at Boss Girl Genius. 3 words, at Boss Girl Genius. Number 2, find me on my website, RayeMitchell.com, spelled R-A-Y-E, Mitchell.com. It's going to be uplifted, but join the mailing list because there's some exciting new stuff coming. And my Facebook page is Dr. Raye Mitchell. So, but if you get to the website, that'll get you into my channels. And celebrate our young Black women and girls, please. And just be well. If you never hear from me again, be well.
Your website, you said follow you or what newsletter? Where do they get that website? www.
Raye, R-A-Y-E, Mitchell.com. There are others, but that'll get you there. Or Google me, Raye Mitchell.
Ooh, yeah, do that.
Google me, and you will find out more than I'm comfortable that's out there, but it's out there. But what it's less about me and it's more about be well. Be well.
I want to say right now to everybody and to you, Raye, thank you. Thank you. This is just the beginning of greater things to come. And I know that already. And when we're ready to produce, we need to talk about that because I'm ready. All right.
Ready. You send me a verb and we can go from there.
Okay, girl. Okay, I'm going to do that. And you guys do the same. In the meantime, in the between time, I'm sending everybody positive vibrations, thoughts, and energy, and know that I am with you in spirit and thought. Blessings always. Thank you, Raye.
Bye. Thank you, ma'am. Enjoy. Love to everyone. Be well.
Be well. Thank you. Bye-bye.